peace, power, and love from me to all my melanated people around the globe. This is Humam Abdulmalik again, up before the sunrise, trying to help us realize our potential and our goals as melanated divine people. Oh Lord, good movie, what's going on? Excuse me for that defense interruption. I cannot keep that where it need to be. Again, top of the morning to you on this fine day before the day even began. Up with inspirational encouragement of divine orientation, divine mediation from our ancestors, in accord with divine lessons and blessings. I want to ask our forgiveness. Yesterday, I just found out that it wasn't no audio with that video yesterday, and I don't know what was the reason or anything, why that occurred or how that occurred or anything, but I humbly apologize for that mishap there, and hopefully we don't have to go through any today. And yesterday it was like, I think I could have been one of the best videos or topics or whatever, because I was dealing with the social narcotics on a degree that we have to really understand the effects of it upon us as a people, and how it separates us and it divides us, and it's a divide and conquer method that these people use, and they know that it works because they worked it. They're master manipulators. They're master deceivers. And everything that they have, they got from us. And we got to know that and share that. And we can't believe his lies, because his lies is based on what I just said. His lies is a deception of our story, and it's a make-up story of his culturally, spiritually, and in all aspects of being on this planet. They had to do that in order to have a story to tell, because they were so barbaric and so full of the beast of in their nature. You know, they didn't have no identity, so they had to do what they did. Coming from us, or one way or the other, is a lot more studying I have to do to really find out that source of their how did they come into this this realm. I know they came out the caves and stuff like that, but what soil did they come out of? You know, the seed that they came from. Are they Nephilim? Or they say we are the Anunnaki, but it's just a mess, I tell you, to be in this dilemma, in this political dilemma that we're in at this day and time. among the people of the world being represented by these people or this system, and this system allowing things to take place according to the democratic kind of way of life, with all the manipulation and the hypocrisy and the deceit and all that, the underhanded dealing and all that, and already know what they're going to do before it's done. But they got to take the public through this charade so that they can make everything seem like it's okay. I think this is the second time they had a coup d'etat right in front of our eyes. In the other country, they'd have had a big write-up in the paper. The popular vote was not given to the person that had the most popular votes. You remember old Al Gore? They did the same thing there back there. They had a plan then with the Bush boys. But now we got the Trump card. This business executive, multi-billionaire, and got a Russian female in the White House. Is she Russian or whatever? I never seen or heard of that in my life since I've been on the planet. And I only been through, how many presidents? 1, 2, let me see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've probably been through 8 presidents. And I never seen this before. I never seen anything like this before. Even in the most racist era and time that this United Snakes of hypocrisy went through as a democratic nation, or demonic nation, however you want to put it, have it been this chaotic. But it's all right. Because it says, it's a saying that go, the worst thing in this world, the most dangerous thing in this world is conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. That's the worst thing in this society. That you can be conscientious, stupid, and wrapped up in stupidity and sincere ignorance, meaning that both of these negative qualifications are coming from your personal self. Be conscientious. This is coming from your mindset, from your mind. You accepted this and you live in this and you know that it ain't in accord with intelligence or in accord with righteousness or whatever, but you still live it. Then to be sincerely ignorant of the facts and the story and all that and still be caught up in it. Well, this morning on Blackanized Incorporated, Contra Chess Moves, we want us to change that. We want us to change that paradigm. Mentally and physically and spiritually. See, we got to exercise all 3 of those areas of our being. First and foremost, we got to keep our temple purified, clean from all impurications and all toxins and stuff like that, so we can be elevated or feel the vibes and frequencies and vibrations of the divine essence of the universe. We need to do that. We need to do that yesterday. We need to heal in ourselves and make that a connection with everybody, that we become a family. Make that a connection in our communities, from our households, to heal, to heal mentally, to heal physically, and to heal spiritually. Because we've been attacked on all levels for some years by these social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism. Added with the methadone of that is the Willie Lynch syndrome. We got to understand that so that we can build us a home within this homeland of United Snakes of Hypocrisy. I mean, that's what it is, really, with its fraudulent laws. We got to get ready to vote back, or they going to vote back to see if they're going to give us voting rights. Constitution is supposed to be a bill of humanity or civil rights, and here it is. We wasn't even in the picture when they concocted this thing and ratified it in, 1787? That was when that Constitution got radicalized or whatever and went into effect. When this was a federation, a republic, and it's the United States. Can we face the facts? Can we realize who we are within this paradigm and this reality? Can we realize that we are the greatest entity that's on this planet? Can we realize that we've been programmed against ourselves so that we won't reach our divine essence that we can reach? And it's sometimes it's a hurtful thing, but it's a learning process. And it's about degrees and levels that we come into ourselves. And in this day and time, they say in the beginning of the age of Aquarius, that a whole lot of energy, divine energy, will be just emanating everywhere in the sphere of this universe, so it can affect our innerverse. Because our innerverse should have an effect on the universe. So it's like as below, as above, so below. So what is in the universe is in the innerverse. Like what's in the subconscious comes from the conscious, or the conscious and the subconscious is above, so below. We have to understand those like esoteric quotes or stuff like that. We have to really grow and develop into people that we're doing what we're doing to a certain extent, but we still perpetrating the system that don't really have our best interests. It's like it's a charade that is like a movie, really, and we got scripts and it's parts we play. But what part do we play? Do we play the role for ourselves, or do we play the role of deterrence of our own building of a nation within a nation? And we sort of like destroy ourselves from our behavior, our attitudes, and our actions against each other within our communities. You know, with the stealing, the robbing, the killing, and all these things. Because we're not changing, we're not coming into our own. We still caught up under the program of being under robot control, by remote control. So they be dealing with the frequencies and vibrations and energy that they have an understanding now that this exists, but we were the creators of that, in that knowledge, and having that knowledge of nature, and being in tune with nature. But we were robbed of our leadership of humanity. It was stolen from us. It was stolen from us and plagiarized from us. But we got to gain it back in this day and time, in this political climate. Because if we don't, we'll just be perpetrating the same old ideology of self-inflicted genocide, mendicide, or all these things that, not supposed to be of our mentality nor of our spirit, but it is because we accept what is given to us. We accept this indoctrination of this educational system. We accept it because it is said this is the way, which is the way. It is the way, along with other ingredients with it. If you go somewhere and you don't have your own character, personality, and culture instilled in you, and you indoctrinated with a foreign culture, you're going against your nature. You're going against your own birthright. And we can't do that. We got to wake up and know who we are. We got to practice our way of life. I was looking at something the other day. It was pertaining to Christianity, that pure Christianity goes back into Akabu land, coming from ancient Ethiopia, which was called Abyssinia, and that is a Christianity of the context of coming out of Akabu land with that spirituality. And before Constantine and them European, those Romans got to it at the Nicene Council and switched it up and took out the aspects of Asa and Heru, and put in aspects of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. The aspect of three men instead of a man, woman, and a child. The natural process. And they want us to believe in that and accept that. Then they promote that. And that's where we at now, in this day and time, in this era. Again, we got to remember, conscientious stupidity is one of the worst things that can be in this world, along with sincere ignorance. Once we accept that, we perpetrated ourselves, we are harmful to ourselves. We're harmful to our seeds. We're harmful to our building and development of our infrastructure, our system, our institutions, our infrastructure. Not being caught up in the infrastructure that is in existence now, from all for our labor, free labor, and they don't want to admit that it occurred like that. They don't want to give us reparations for that, like other people on the planet Earth that went through way less than what we went through. They were paid reparation. We're not talking coming from a point of being a victim or suffering from some type of victimology of we want a handout. We don't want a handout. We want to have we want an even starting line, that the race has been started, but to kind of suffice for y'all ill treatment, irrelevant treatment of us as a people, and putting us down, using all types of things against us as a people to manipulate us, to poison us, to poison the food, the air, everything. And this suffering got to stop from their hand, from the hand of the system. Because the system is really a corrupt system, a demonic system with the people that's giving and making these rules beyond the law. They're the makers of the law, and they put a apparatus into place that's supposed to be about the law. The legislative, judicial, and executive, and those three essence supposed to run this country in a way that has equality for all. But it doesn't. It is subtle manipulation to where we can't really see it, but it's there in the media. Now they got so many terms and quotes and stuff. It's real funny. Now they talk about fake news. Fake news is propaganda or what? Or is news that's used to get a policy done or whatever? Or it's control news. And that's the way it is. It's always been that way. They playing games, pulling covers off of one station and leaving the covers on the other. But in reality, they letting you know that what we didn't look at or haven't looked at before, that the reality of it is that's what it is. Control media for mass mind control and manipulation, and it's controlled by them, this corporation, and Federal Reserve, international bankers and stuff like that. They're the ones to keep these wheels turning and got all these other entities in place to make it look like this is how it's being run, with politics and politics and stuff like that. And this is what this political system is based on. But we must become who we are in this day and time as spiritual people, divine people. In order to get to that level, we got to heal. We got to heal ourselves in our relationship with each other, with our sisters, when our brothers coming together in harmony, in peace and understanding. And don't let all these negative energies, these items of destruction, these things that seem so small and insignificant, these things that deter our equilibrium, our balance. I mean, I'm talking about like a small thing like alcohol. Alcohol, it distorts your reality. Drugs distort your reality. And when we take them and enjoy them, it's for like feel-good pleasure principles that manipulate and stimulate the essence of the areas of your mind to give you that euphoria about feeling good. But ain't nothing like feeling good naturally. Ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like having your temple purified and you feeling good and you putting the right things in it and the right things coming out of it. Good words coming out what you study and what you research. Good words come out your mind, out your mouth to instruct, to uplift, to that people can feel the energy and the power of your words, to that they can console people, that people feel love, for your actions and deeds. But we got to develop along those lines. And it ain't hard because it's already inside you on a divine prescripted script that's in you. from your DNA. That is already in you. It's your nature to be upright and righteous, to be loving and kind to your own, and first starting with yourself. We need to do that in these days and times. Sometimes I know I may be sounding redundant and all that, but we got to hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it again and again and again. That's like we heard everything else again, and over a period of time, a long period of time. Going to school and the curriculum is not based on our reality for real, or nor our culture. It doesn't have any significance to us as a people. So that's why sometimes we be caught up in the action because we're programmed to be a certain way and don't even know it. We be like under robot control. A lot of us walk around with our eyes wide shut. Some of us just sell our souls and become Negropeans, trying to emulate the Europeans. And some of us do it to such a deterrent degree that you don't even see your reflection in the mirror when you look. All you see is the dark hue skin, melatonin, but your mind, your spirit is far gone. It don't belong to you no more. You like a clone or a cyborg. I like to use that. I recall that yesterday. I use that term cyborg. I know there's a lot of people that used to look at Star Trek and that connection, one from the leader, and it connects it all and they operate the same. That's what they want us to do. One genetic mindset, or synthetic mindset, really, not genetic. Because genetic is natural, synthetic is not natural. And that's what they do. They use processed food to try to process our mind. If you have a processed mind, then you are inclined to be manipulated and used against yourself and then your people. The social narcotics is a terrible thing. When you don't go against it, when you just go with it, then you are a victim of that sociology that they have programmed you with, or program us with. We're in the dilemma of being programmed. We just got to be aware of what's going on. That's why I say education, ain't nothing wrong with education. Ain't nothing wrong with the indoctrination. You're aware of that, what it is, and you're aware of who you are. You know your culture. You know who you are and where you come from. And you know in your heart and your soul, your spirit, what you're supposed to do as a African descendant or American descendant of African slaves. We have to know that also that our history didn't begin with that, but we know that we here as such in this period in time and on these in this country or whatever, but not to total agree because we were here before even they came, but the wholesale mass slaughter of the genocidal attack upon us around the world almost simultaneously, and then their actions of, the slaughtering of us, they didn't even let us know it was us they were talking about. They got us believing one way when it's another way. Oh man, I'm telling you, it's just it's so awesome too to be in tune with nature. And we had another super moon this a couple of days ago. Call it the Cancer moon or the Howling Wolf moon, whatever it is, that energy that comes from that. You see, it has an effect upon us because lunar energy mess with the water, and we're like 97% water or liquid or whatever. So therefore, there is a definite effect upon us in the natural order of things. That's why we got to come into or become naturally ordered, in a natural order. And that is growth and development and uplifting of our people. We just got to go into ourselves and just heal. We got to heal ourselves. I see you, Brother Omar. Assalamu alaikum. Always peace, power, and love, brother. We very, very shortly shall see what everybody be saying about this new presidential Pontius or whatever, this Roman emperor or whatever, and his plans. His first 100 days should tell it all, what direction they're going to be moving in. It would be politics or politricks. It would be for the masses or it would be against the masses, and we shall see. But anyway, that is the era and the time that we're in this political climate, which one I've never seen before. And I'm just being observant, being on guard, making preparation for anything that might go down. Because we already seen when he was elected, the disruption in the currency occurred with all these people protesting, and they still going to protest because their anger is about what it's about. I don't know if it's the Barry Sanders syndrome or the Hillary Clinton syndrome that got them all upset and set up by the system, because the system is in cahoots. They knew what was going to happen long before it happened. And we as a people just got to sit back and look and observe and be ready, be diligent in whatever may go down. We got to be ready to protect our youth, our children, and our elders in an orderly manner or fashion. If something like that occurred, even if the power grid, something is affected or has affected the power grid, or if there's anarchy or there's a police state or whatever, we got to be prepared as a people and not get caught up in the wave or get caught up in the sensation of it. And we have to be diligent in the organization of it. We have to organize and develop infrastructure and be in order. We can't be like a riot and all that. We got to be organized. We got to be ready to survive if anything go down. Hopefully it don't. Hopefully we just got to go through the political drama of this brother and this mankind. I can't say brother. That wouldn't be real for me to say brother. But I said kind of man or whatever in the system that we dealing with or functioning with. I'd like to say also this morning, 8 o'clock, I will be on an international interview on, it will be on UK Diamond Radio with brother co-hosting Alpha Cuba. He's a brother that's in the UK. And what we'll be talking about this this radio broadcast will be politics based on Trump in office and its effect that it's going to have upon Africa. Will it be good or bad? We're just going to discuss that. I being a layman, I being just one who is spiritually inclined, searching, I'm a student, teacher, searching within my African spirituality, other than the institutional way of life that I like, practicing of Islam or being saved, baptized, and all that. I've been through all that, and I have that energy, but really I am spiritual, dealing with spirituality and universality of the nature or the energy of the Creator, based on the natural energy of the Creator, that natural intelligence, and not getting it in all inclusive, like there's a separate entity like Islam, Christianity, whatever else, and it's separate. Being spiritual and universal the essence of it all is one. So I claim that oneness in the space of this oneness, so that I won't be caught up in the methodology of that social narcotics that deals with divide and conquer mentalities. I can no longer practice those things that keep me separated from my people. I'm about unification. I'm about bringing us together. I'm about being a part of that bring us together as a people, as a spiritual people, in the essence of who we are and what we are and who we are. And my brother Omar is talking about getting Bitcoin now. He said that dollar is dead, so it's about the currency, bringing that what is it, fiat money and promissory note that really don't have no value through inflation. Because I remember the value of the dollar used to be huge or whatever, but as it stands now, it's almost worth nothing. But that is cool, because we got to learn how to start a bartering or whatever in society amongst ourselves. We have to. That's the development of another system, collective work and responsibility, self-determination, all those principles of Kwanzaa that we got to use every day of the year. We got to apply them in our lives. Oh boy, let me see. We can't forget concepts of, like, the great iconic brother whose celebration will be tomorrow on here in D.C. on Martin Luther King Avenue. They're having a peace walk and parade, Martin Luther King parade. This is the 11th annual one that's put together by the Democrats of Ward 8, the churches of Ward 8, the mass. Everybody comes together, collective, to put this together, which is in commemoration of this great iconic figure. But remember the things that he said other than "I have a dream" speech, because that's been beating our mentalities and our spirits and our souls since it's almost 50 years ago that the brother was here or whatever. And everything that he talked about 50 years ago still exists today. And the reason being, because he said his words was, his dream may have become a nightmare. Those was his words. But they will give us that "I have a dream" speech every time they can, every chance they can. Or they don't say nothing about, he's saying, "I might have led us into a burning house." And saying that, those two quotes is like, I done something that was very dangerous for us, because he believed in the system, and to the point that he really seen the system for what it really is, based on hypocrisy. That's what we got to realize. And we deal within the system, but only to develop our own system in a cooperative manner, to deal and develop an infrastructure. That's the only way that we will survive. Because if we get caught up and just follow these blueprints that this system has, we'll be led into our own self-destruction. If you don't believe me, just look at the history. Just go back and research. How could we be treated the way we was treated? How could they give us diseases like at Tuskegee Institute, injected men with the syphilis virus and didn't even let them know, and over years just watch how it will affect them, for them to develop the AIDS virus in the laboratories at Fort Detrick right here in Maryland, and then blame it on a green monkey in Africa after they took the vaccination and vaccinated people with this serum that caused it also in Africa. These people create swine flu in the laboratory, mad cow disease in the laboratory, then put it in the public domain. Because to them, collateral damage is what it is. It's a military term, but they use that to get what they want, get policy made and all that stuff. And like in 2001, somebody dialed 911 because it was September the 11th when that horrific incident occurred, and it happened right in front of your eyes, but you can't see or realize what really happened because they are masters of manipulation. Right here in D.C., well, in Virginia, when a plane went into the Pentagon, there was no wreckage at all. And they showed this on TV, but people still are so much under robot control that they said an airplane was there. With all the maneuverability and all that, and then the way it hit, no wreckage, not even a wing. But see, this is what they do when they wag the tail. Wag the tail is like they saying, like what Trump said, fake news. All it is program news. To have you to believe what they want you to believe. And it ain't all on them, it's a lot on us, because if we don't stop and develop and grow and do something for ourselves as far as the education and the healing and stop the killing, we can't keep pointing no finger at nobody else, not in this day and time. We got to deal with the divine nature in us. And love, we got to deal with love, that love in us. We got to deal with the peace that's in us. All these things is natural, and all we have to do is apply it in our lives and overcome the indoctrination, the trickery, and the lies of this demonic nation. I'm telling you, I'm going over in my mind the concept of that great brother, man. The worst thing in this world can be conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. Those are the words of Martin Luther King. And why do you think he used them? Why do you think he even said that? Can we grasp why he was saying? Can we feel what he's saying, the substance of what he's saying? It's like self-inflicted. It's like we don't study. It's like we don't research. We just accept. We just accept anything and everything for what it is, but it ain't what it is. It's a camouflage. It's a charade. It's misinformation, lack of information, distortion of information, and his lies based on like containing us, not wanting us to grow into what we can become. A divine being, human being here on this earth. The divine energy that is in us to develop the characteristic and the personality of a divine being, how we treat each other. Like our sisters got to get held back in high esteem in a matriarchic way, where they are the mothers of the earth, the first teachers of our children, the consolers of us each and every day. And we got to get into that nature of thing, that path, that pathway that's already set out for us by our ancestors, by divine decree. And we hold the key. It's so natural and simplistic. All we have to do is open up to it. Open up to ourselves internally, where we understand our inner verse. And once we understand that, our inner verse, and begin to study ourselves, to know ourselves, and all this will open up to us naturally. That feeling of love for each other. That feeling to heal from our traumatic post-slave syndrome. To heal from all the stuff that's going on in our community, all the gunshots, all the killings, all the self-inflicted destructions of our family units. We got to overcome. We got to come together in the oneness of love and peace and grow spiritually. Grow spiritually into a beautiful human being with a beautiful system of living together. We got to take on the example of other cultures to develop our culture in a certain sense and degree, because we've been so programmed. It seems sometimes it's hard to just fall into your natural, distinct, natural divine plan or blueprint of yourself. If we look at the Latinos, how they come over here and 6 of them, 7 of them be in the house or whatever, and they be paying the rent, buying the food, all that together, so they don't have to put all their money into that. They can save money, then one go out and get another house. Then 6 more go in that house, but then it's only 5 in this house. And then they start that process over and over and over. Because they can live in harmony and unity, because they haven't been processed, made, and stamped in America like we went through a factory. We went through this type of factory to deal with our minds, body, and spirits. And they took all that, they distorted it from us. But that was in the past and is in the present. But to the extent now that it ain't like going through the physical, mental, and spiritual abuse altogether. They took the chains off our physicality, off our bodies, but now they have the chains on our spiritual mind and our mentality or our mindset to keep us enslaved. See, we have a slave mentality that like they don't even have to be around us. Just like, Rosie Parks or what her name, Culverton, where the people that sat on, the 2 sisters that sat on the bus. Culverton was before Rosa Parks, but she was younger and she was pregnant, so they didn't want to use her. Then Rosa Parks. Okay, so we used to have to go to the back of the bus. You couldn't sit in the front of the bus. But now when they went through that, the civil rights era and all that, with this great iconic figure, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, we can sit in the back of the bus, but look, what do? Look at an example. We come on the bus and go straight to the back, because that's the preparation, or it was the preparation of the Willie Lynch syndrome to put that thing in us. And he said it would be in effect for the next 300 years. I don't know. It seems as though that is true. If we don't break those chains, the mental change and those spiritual chains, along with the physical change that they took off us, but they didn't take off the mental change or the spiritual change, because we're indoctrinated by that more so than anything, because we go to their schools, suffer from the social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism, and where we can't see it, because a lot of us have our eyes wide shut and we be under robot control. We so indoctrinated, we lose our soul almost. And that's the worst thing that can happen. Again, is conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. We got to come out of that quagmire, deceptive maze that we be in, and rise up to the divine light and that divine nature that we have as a people, and feel the peace and love for our brothers and sisters, motivate each other, stimulate each other, and bring each other to a position in life that is better for everybody. Not in an egotistical manner, a self-centered manner, or arrogant manner, but a harmony, a peace of harmony, a manner of harmony and peace and serenity. And you don't lose anything by being humble, living a life of humility. You gain something. You gain a disposition that's respectful, that people can see your glow of light, that divine light that emanates from you as you walk into areas and spaces. I'm going to speak this every day because I'm trying to speak it into existence. Because we got to change our talk. We got to change what we say. We got to change what we think. We got to do all that to become the essence of the Creator here within in this earth, because we're all part of the created energy. That created energy of the Creator is in us, each and every one of us. Like they say, the high and the lower self. What power would you choose? And if you be a righteous individual, that you will choose the righteous road, the road of enlightenment, the road of guidance, the road of being a person to help in this growth and development of a society that has regained its consciousness, regain its ability to be builders once again, to come out that quagmire of being just totally consumers. We must be producers. We must be creators of technology and all the patents. Most of the patents that we have in the United States is patented by us, but it was taken from us or whatever. But not in these days of time, because everything is more focused now, and we're more out in the open now. They can't do exactly what they want to now, but sometimes they do go to that extreme extent. We've seen a blast of that with all these cop killing or slave catchers killing innocent men, shooting them numerous of times and all that. So the racism still exists, because the institutionalized mechanism of racism still exists. So we got to do something about that as a people. We got to rise above ourselves. We got to rise above that ego, that self-centered aspect of us, and that arrogance. We got to rise above that. We got to kind of take that out of us. Ain't nothing wrong with being confident. Ain't nothing wrong with being competent and confidence, and knowing what you do and how you do things. But you do it in a cooperative manner, not a competitive manner, because we've been taught how to be competitive and be individualistic instead of being cooperative and holistic. I don't have too much more to say today. I want to get ready for that other broadcast on the international radio. But before I do go, I just want to tell and let people know that we still got to institutionalize concepts that's related to us as far as nation building. Alternative to all unholy, hollow days, and bring into existence culture significant days that's holy, and the institutionalization like of the concepts of Kwanzaa, and also that our history should not be, we should not let nobody validate us and say that history is 1 month. Before that, it was 1 week. So we say it's every day. Our story is so great and gigantic that it takes every day if we want to talk about our story. Now, his lies can be confined in a month or less. See, his lies don't really have a storyline to it, because they plagiarized and stole everything they got and say it's theirs. But it's okay. It's truly okay, because today we're waking up. Slowly but surely, we're waking up. And I just want to share with us one of my poems. It says, "Never was I a slave. I am the substance of life without a price. I am free and cannot be sold or bought. I don't care what your children are taught. In life, I'm a spiritual warrior, an African ninja. And I don't care if I offend you, because I'm here to bend the lie back into truth. No longer will truth and falsehood be strangely mixed. I see your tricks, lies, and manipulation because of your melanin frustration. Because you be chasing my dreams, builders of pyramids and great civilizations, and the ultimate in race relations. So therefore, I was never a slave nor a nigger. You see, I have faith in the Creator and don't have to see Him to believe in Him. So therefore, I can't develop a creator complex and take everything out of context like marriages of the same sex, no reproduction. So what's the function? The maker of man-made laws gone mad like Nero, your hero, playing his violin as the world burns out of control by those in control with no soul and no passion for the masses. You will never be able to figure me out because I'm the mystery of ancient and future times in a long line of masterminds and griots, the keepers of our story. So in this so-called post-racial era, it becomes clear that everything is out of control as the people with soul are so a new culture identity without indemnity. As you become your own enemy, once again, as the system that hasn't changed has you believing social equality has been attained. Just because of the fame of one African king in the society of Europeans who surrounds him, do you think they treat him like the next of kin or he's really their friend? Just look at the Republicans and how they vote. My third eye is open and I see clearly. It's merely hypocrisy being paraded as this democracy for the republic in which it stands. Oh, say, can't you see? It's all connected with the sinking of the Lithuania to the present-day chaos by the Iranians. Man-made pandemics without limits, standing on the verge of total economical plan collapse. And this don't have anything to do with the Zodiac. It goes a long way back to the Knight Templars of Solomon, who became the learned elders of Zion, lying in wait to implement the next phase of their plan. As they have commercialized the revolutionary slogan, power to the people. And the people don't know what they be buying, because the IRS, the Federal Reserve, and the international bankers all be lying. The founding sign of the New World Order being put in place. But you see, I say, but you see, I was never a slave or a nigger. And I figure one aim, one purpose, one goal for those with melanin in their soul as the Creator's plan unfold. Yeah, that's what I surely, truly believe. And really, I took the word God out of, it's God in here about 3-4 places. I don't like saying the word no more, God. You turn around as a dog, and I don't want to give that type of significance to the supreme being, to the creator of everything that we can think of or can't think of, all inanimate objects and animate objects. It was in the sole context of this created intelligence that we can't define or can't really put a name on it, but it's so, it exists. We're an example of that existence. And with that, I'd like to also say that we must change in every way. We must change for the betterment of ourselves, and we can't have us doing things to ourselves that's harmful to ourselves. We got to heal in our community so we can stop the killing in our communities. I said we got to start healing in our communities so we can stop the killing in our communities. We got to stop this senseless killing. It don't make sense. We can't let our emotionals lead us to that extent of self-determined or self-destructive nature, self-inflicted genocide. Because once again, one of the worst things in this world is conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. Let that keep going over in your mind. Let it play over in your mind. Conscientious conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance about the actions that we allow to go on in our psyche, individually and collectively. We got to get a grip on that. And we got to do it now, because we're being attacked, and the attack is the frequencies and everything is going up. We're going up in this attack upon our spirit, our minds, and our bodies. And if we don't step back and reflect and say we ain't gonna partake in it ourselves, can defend ourselves against an outside attack. But when it's in-house, then we don't know where it's coming from because it's in-house. Therefore, we got to develop our own selves first. Then we develop our communities. We talk to our youth, and we talk to them in a way to let them know that we love them. That we love you so much that we want you to live, to be the next generation of leaders. But then you have to put down those guns and solve your problems without murder. You know, it is not even necessary. And so with that, I want to say, kick the social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism, and develop our own institutions within this society, and develop an infrastructure so that we can be more productive than we are with ourselves, excuse me, and in our cooperation with people outside of ourselves, because we're going to still have to be in the system. And we got to be productive in this system, but we got to be observant and aware of any strange movement in the bushes. Let's say it like that. If anything shall go down, we got to be organized in our activities in the communities. I mean, like, we just can't rush in stores and just take stuff out. We gotta be pacific in everything that we do. You know, we gotta, whatever happens, if we go in stores or something like that on a mass scale or whatever because something happened, we gotta do it organized, man. We gotta know the foods to take and all that. We just can't just run in there and just make the place a mess. We got to be orderly in whatever we do. Doctors, lawyers, and like what's his name, Steve Coakley, he was talking about if something go down like this, we got to be organized, like in units of vanguard, rear guard, and middle guard, and we got to protect our youth, our children, and our women. We got to protect them. And anybody that know, like cooks, and all the cooks should be together so they can cook for the people or whatever. Doctors, anybody have any information on how to do this or do that in the medical field, need to be together. If it get to that extent, I hope it never gets to that extent with a anarchy or police state or anything like that. But we got to make preparation for any and everything and be ready. And with that, I say peace, love, and power to my people all around this globe. And they say all politics is local. So my people in D.C., we got to be the example setters. We got to be the ones to come together and plant that seed, and so people see the example of what our work is. And that's like anybody and everybody from whatever locale you at, be the example. Set the standard of us unifying, come together, and all like so-called conscious people, all spiritual people, all religious people, from whatever group you are, like Islamic, Christianity, Hebrewites, and all that. We got to come together in a unified effort and come together. You can stay under your banner and worship like you want, but in the context of unity, not in the context of divisive division that people want us to be. Because if we don't come together and harness our energy together, it's going to be separate. We ain't going to have that power of the currency if we unified as one. When we ain't unified, it's all loose and everything. We can't come together based on that, because we'll be separated. We'll be fighting against each other for, well, ideology or something that's written in a book that was put together by a group of men that wanted political and population control of the times. But the times went overtime. They went overtime with their indoctrination of the people and the misleading of the people. We got to overcome that. Again, love y'all. Tell somebody that you love them. Hug somebody. Motivate somebody and stimulate somebody. Lift them up if they need so. Or just come together on a harmonious spirit to communicate how we can do something, some development in our community, how we can be entrepreneurs or anything like that. That's what it's about today. And don't forget tomorrow on Martin Luther King Avenue. I think it's starting in 2 places down at the Rise up there, Martin Luther King Avenue, then maybe down at by United Black Front, going up to there, then coming back down. In the commemoration of Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King, a great iconic figure that's an ancestor now. But remember what he said now. Remember what he said. He not only said, I have a dream, and he went to the mountaintop. He said he ain't going to get there with us. It's our job in this day, in this era, in this time, to manifest that dream into a reality that's livable and sustainable, that's tangible, and not corrupted, not suffering from anything like social narcotics, divide and conquer methodologies. And not only, don't forget that he said the worst thing in the world is conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. So wake up, come out of our slumber, come out of this mass mind control epidemic, come out of the social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism. Then he also said that dream may have been a nightmare. If what he talked about almost 50 years ago still exists today, then wouldn't you say it's the twilight zone, suspended animation? For what reason? It's the product of this nation and the political machinery that makes the laws. The changes ain't coming all the way through. We got a lot of people that get through the loops, and multimillionaires all over the world and all over the country, all over the United States. It's a hypocrisy. But what are we doing with that? We can do more. Those who got it can do more. It's yours, but we can do more. Then don't forget, he also said he might be leading us into a burning house. We better get some water. We got to get some water and put it out, because it's still burning today. Still burning because it's dangerous, was what he's mean. He's taking us into in this and having us accept this, but it's very dangerous for us as a people. So that's why we got to develop our own infrastructure and our own living, the way we live amongst each other. We got to do that. We should have did that yesterday, but we didn't, so we're going to start today. Not start today, but implement the practice of it today, because it should have already been started. And don't forget to come down and be part of that peace walk and the Martin Luther King parade in commemoration of one of our great iconic figures, one of the greatest orators that there were or may ever be. But that's not the